Hello. Huskies back with more Be a Pro commentary. It's been a while since I made a video. I feel like I said that last time. Um, I don't even know where we're at. I think we're... to power skating. Oh, we're almost at the new year. We've gotten pretty far along. I mean, breaking our ankle kind of helped progress. Usually what happens when you miss 6 weeks is the game goes by quicker. We have 16 points. I don't know how many game plays we have. Oops, that's the wrong list. We have 16 points in 15 games, so we're still a point per game player. We lead the team in goals, which is kind of sad considering we were out for 6 weeks. This team is really struggling. So I'm surprised to see that we're, oh boy, 4-1. See if we can get something going here. Oh, and we got our backup in the net. Let me turn my on-ice trainer on so I know what I'm getting awarded for, and let's go. Alright, so last time, I think I talked about some rule changes that the NHL has done recently that I'm personally not a fan of. I was talking to a friend of mine. This is a topic that we often discuss, but it's the NHL's current playoff system. Not so much the wild card system, like that's fine. Like I'm not a huge. I don't think the wild card system is a bad thing. What I think a bad thing is how they match up the teams. Like I think it's pointless to play. Like they try too hard to. They're trying too hard to push these rivalries in these playoff series by forcing the 2 and the 3 seed to play 2 playoff series against their own division. And this really, oh shit, he got murdered. This starts to become an issue when you have divisions that are pretty clearly better than other divisions. For the past few years, it's been the Central Division has been considerably better than the Pacific. And you've seen both wildcards come out of the Central. You've seen quarterfinal matchups that are probably should be conference final matchups. That started with like when the Blues would play the Hawks in the first round, or even the Wild Hawks series from a couple years ago that the Hawks won. It's just they're putting too much emphasis on the early round series or the early playoff series, and they're not allowing the best teams to meet up at a later date. Like they're punishing teams for performing well, or they're hurting good teams that are just in a strong division. That's going to be the case this year as well. Not for the Central Division, but for the Metro. Because right now you have five of the best 6 teams in the league are in the Metro Division, and that's being the Capitals, the Penguins, the Blue Jackets. The Rangers are probably... Oh, nice pick. Get it to him. Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Oh. But yeah, New York, Washington. I'm going to pull up the standings real quick while this plays a replay. I don't remember off the top of my head. Alright, so the Metros, it's had a bit of more of a push of late. Ever since Philadelphia kind of came back down to earth, because they had that long win streak and they've kind of sucked since. Because now they're 14 points behind the playoff race. Well, 2 points behind the wild card, but 14 points behind the Metro Division. But either way, 4 of the best teams in the NHL are all in one division. Oh, you gotta put that in? Oh, I couldn't bat that in. with, like I said, Washington, Pittsburgh, Columbus, and the Rangers. I mean, the Rangers have 75 points they're in fourth place. That's good enough for second in the Central and first in every other division. Like Montreal leads the Atlantic with 70. I got tied up. Here we go. It's a good battle. Yeah, we're offsides. But yeah, the fourth place team in the Metro could very easily. The only team that's got more than 75 points and isn't in the Metro is Minnesota, and they're leading the Central currently. And the only other team with 75 points is Chicago, and they have 75 right now, and they're second in the Central. So that just goes to show how stacked that division is. Granted, I mean, do you really expect Columbus to go on that run that they had and almost break the NHL record for consecutive wins? I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming. Especially when Tortorella's World Cup appearance was, like, trash. So I'm sure teams were really... Oh, I gotta hit the net there. I didn't think Columbus would be... I mean, I expected them to challenge for a playoff spot, but I didn't expect them to be tied for second in the Metro with Pittsburgh. Granted, they've been healthy all year, and that's been Columbus's biggest issue since acquiring Brandon Saad and Tortorella as a coach is injuries. Bobrovsky's been hurt for a long time. Like, he's very rarely finished seasons. Yeah, I've kind of gotten off topic. The whole playoff race, right now the playoffs are set up as the Penguins would play the Blue Jackets in the first round, and the Rangers would do the Canadians in the first round. The Canadian and the Rangers would be the... This is just silly. I don't know why I find this so funny. But the Rangers are the underdog in the Montreal series, and they have 5 more points than the Canadians. It's just absurd. Right now, the playoff matchups out east are Washington, Toronto, with Toronto being the second wildcard spot. Pittsburgh, Columbus, which is the 2-3 in the Metro. Montreal, New York, which is the Atlantic Division leader, Montreal, against the first wildcard spot, the Rangers. Oh, I had it. What was that shot? Come on, put your purse down. Oh, boy. Oh. There it is. Oh, he got poke checked by the goalie. I get a change. And the last series is Ottawa and Boston, which is kind of... I mean, Boston just fired Claude Julien, and he instantly got picked up by Montreal. But yeah, I feel like the playoff thing doesn't work with where the current parity is in the NHL. I mean, you're punishing teams for finishing second and third when they should be rewarded. Like, Pittsburgh's going to finish second in the Metro, which is the hardest division in the league, possibly. And by possibly, I mean where they finish, not that the division's hard. And they have to play the Blue Jackets, who won 18 or 19 straight earlier this season. Like, you're not rewarding the number 2 team anymore. Like, there's no incentive to finish second or third in the division if you can get a wild card spot and play the Atlantic. Because right now the Rangers have the easiest time. Goddamn, 3-1, shit, 4-1. Man, Florida sucks. Like, this is bad. But I mean, you saw it last year with the Islanders. The Islanders kind of tanked at the end of the season and lucked out by having to play Florida in the first round because Florida won the division. The Islanders then avoided the Rangers, the Penguins, and the Capitals by lucking out and getting the other side of the bracket, in which they beat the Panthers and then lost to the Lightning. They avoided the Metro altogether, which is what teams are probably going to try to do. I would assume that the Rangers would continue to play for this first wildcard spot and try to avoid getting a division playoff spot, because you'd much rather play the Canadians in the first round than have to match up with them in the second or third round. Because if Carey Price gets going, like if he has a good start to the playoffs, you don't want to see him later on. And I think with Claude Julien being the coach of Montreal now, the further they get in the playoffs, the tougher they're going to be to beat. Just the playoff, the prestige is there. Like, he knows how to win in the playoffs. I don't know if the team does, but he does. I gotta be more selfish with the puck. Walk in. Oh, did I hit that? I think I tipped that unintentionally. So yeah, and even out west, like the Wild. I mean, the Hawks and Blues matchup, because the Blues are. There's a little more parity out west, at least. Being that the Hawks get the Blues and who are the number 3 seed, but they're only a point ahead of the Predators, who are the wild card spot, and the Kings are only 3 behind them. But I just, this whole, like, you're going to have, in the first round, you're going to lose either Montreal, New York, Pittsburgh, or Columbus. All those teams should honestly vie for a conference final and possibly a Stanley Cup shot, but they're one of those, at least 2 of those teams are going to be gone in the first round, and that's, I don't feel that's how you reward strong regular season play. Like, I understand. Oh, give me that. Yeah, I got an assist. I don't feel like, I feel like the 1 versus 8, the 2 versus 7, the 3 versus 6, and the 4 versus 5 makes the most sense. Like, you can still do a wild card with that, just set up the playoff thing different, because this just, I don't think this has worked so far since it's been implemented. I feel like the conference final series have just not been what they should be, because the teams that are there, not necessarily they shouldn't be there. I mean, they beat teams to get there, but you fully expect, like, oops, out of the puck. Come on, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. I'm going to change before we give up a goal. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the playoff system when they first implemented it. Because not only did they, it's kind of come back to relocation, but they moved Columbus over with Detroit. Like, I don't see the point of overloading the one conference. I understand that leaves room for expansion, but you're only expanding one team when they probably should be. They probably should have expanded 2, not just Vegas. I wanted to do a little backhand cheese there. If they were adding a second team with this move to bring Vegas in, the playoff system would be fine. Because then you could probably have to go back to a 1 versus 8 type system where the best teams play the. Because I just I just don't feel like you're rewarded for doing well anymore. Like, the Kings went on their magical run to win the cup when they were the 8th seed out west. You have all these, like, you really don't have, for these lower teams to get to the, I understand the lower teams still have to play good teams, but there's certain playoff series that just should not be first or second rounds. Like, I don't think, like, there was a series where Pittsburgh matched up with Washington in the second round when there was no reason for them to meet there. That should have been the conference. Those are the 2 best teams in the conference by far. But because of how because of the playoff system, they were forced to play early. I don't know. I just don't like the playoff system. I think it's silly. I think the 1 versus 8 was fine. Your division realignments have done enough for rivalries during the season. I don't think you need to up the ante with forcing them to play playoff series too. I understand playoff series are exciting when it's, oh my goodness, just stay in the butterfly, dude. I get that rivalries are fun. They're exciting to watch. There's hate, there's anger, there's intensity. But I don't feel like it does the league any good to force your best teams to play each other early. I think it hurts you in the long run. I mean, we've been lucky enough to see the best teams get to the Stanley Cup. Like the Sharks and Pens, that was a good Stanley Cup. Like that wasn't. I don't think that was bad. And then the year prior to that, I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. I feel like I should know. When did the Hawks win it last? 2015? Right? 2010, 2013, 2015. Yeah, so I don't like the playoff system in the NHL. I think it does more damage than it does good. I'd love to know your opinion. Feel free to comment how you think, what playoff system the NHL should use. If you like this one, feel free to defend it. I mean, it's open forum. I'm not gonna like say you're wrong. This is my personal opinion. I personally I don't like it. I think they're trying too hard to be unique and try to like garner interest in the league, like saying that they're trying to drive profit, like they're not making enough money. They're making plenty of money. Even with failing franchises, they're making plenty of money. Alright, so this Be a Pro is getting a little rough here. We're not winning any games. I understand I'm on Florida and we traded Luongo, so we don't have much to work with. I'll be interested to see how the playoff races work out in the NHL with the wild cards are all very close. I mean, the division races aren't close at all. Jason Demers is out. Like the top three in each division is pretty much set, except for the third in the Central Division and the third in the Atlantic. I guess the second and the third in the Atlantic. All right, 2-0, 5-0. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sim this game, and we're gonna play the next one. Hopefully, it's a close game that we can actually have an impact in. Oh, but the Jets are 27-11, so this might not be very good, but we'll see. I'm down to the second line. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Face-offs. Wrist shot training. Nope, wrist shot training. Nope, that's weight training. Damn it. Oh well. I wonder who's on my second line. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, like I said, the divisions are pretty much all set, and we still have, what, 2 months to go? Just over 2 months to go? Alright, 1-0, there we go. Alright, 2-1, this is a close game. We're in this. We got Reimer in the net finally. See if we can have a good competitive game here. Because last one was what, 5-1 when we went in. The first one was 4-1. I wasn't gonna play a 5-0 game against the Stars. So yeah, in the Central, Minnesota has 80, Chicago has 75, St. Louis has 63. Nashville's right behind St. Louis with 62. But after that, Winnipeg's got 56, Dallas has 54, Colorado has 32. Like you're not gonna see any of those three bottom teams get there. I've been talking too much today. My voice is starting to go. The Pacific, Edmonton is in third, and they have an 8-point lead on the Kings, so the Pacific's probably already set. The Metro, Columbus, and New York are tied at 75 points for that third spot. Either of those teams could get there. I wouldn't be surprised to see if that's... I'm sure New York would prefer to get the wild card spot and play the Atlantic, because if they play... if they beat Montreal in the first round, they'll get the winner of Ottawa-Boston. And I think that's what they would prefer. That was a bad breakaway. I know that's what I would prefer if I was the Rangers. I just wanted to get that out front, not to the point. Oh, nice defense. There it is, good pass. Find the net, come on. Oh, I was one-timing the shit out of that puck. Alright, good line change. And the Atlantic is Ottawa and Boston are second and third with 64 each, and Toronto has 63. I mean, that's, again, but all the playoff teams are pretty much set out east. Philadelphia is not going to catch New York. They're 14 points back in the Metro. Basically, the only spots up for grabs the rest of the season are how the Atlantic plays out and how the last team in the Central and the wild card. That's really it. I mean, other than that, the playoffs. Am I hurt again? What the fuck, dude? Well, I guess I'm gonna end this video early since I'm dead. Alright, I have been injured. I will sim. Alright, well, I guess I'll leave you with a teaser again. How long am I going to be out for this time? Concussions are usually a week if it's a concussion. I mean, he was holding his head. Hey, we got a win at least. So we have, what, 17 points, and we played 4 games in 19 games. Oh boy. Alright, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna tease it. I'm gonna end it there. Feel free to comment your opinion on the current NHL playoff system. And give a prediction of how long I'm out for. It looked like a head injury. Could be a long-term injury. Or it could be like 2 days. I don't know. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.